communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has a virtual hand raised so we can all immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting today, is Toastmaster Youselee Joseph. Youselee has been a member for over 10 years. She currently serves as an area director and a club coach in District 86. For her, nothing beats education. It elevates people's dignities, brings about profound and lasting change, and brings dreams to life. By profession, she is an economist, a project manager, and a customer service specialist. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Youselee Joseph.
Thank you, Toastmaster Durant. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, colleague Toastmasters and guests. I am happy to welcome you at this meeting at Leadership Speak, mostly this morning. Sit back and let's enjoy and learn together. The theme of the meeting today is education that leads forward. When we were children, we were passionate about education. We wanted to go to school to meet our friends, our teachers. We want to go to the library to do researches on our favorite subject. Our heads were filled with big dreams that we wanted to achieve in the future. Projects that we want to complete to impact people's life. And then we grew up. Of course, we have achieved many of those dreams that we have, some bigger than others. And if we are here today, it's because we have the same love to learn, maybe perhaps with a less enchanting or innocent spirit of a child. Today's theme, education that leads forwards, means to practice knowledge, to be what we know, and to do what we know in our daily life. Instead of learning just for ourselves, learn for others in order to have a positive impact on their life. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. So it is important to use knowledges with awareness. Only knowledges can free people, both physically and mentally. And speaking of freedom, yesterday in my country, in Haiti, we were celebrating the founding father of the country. His name is Jean-Jacques Dessalines. In this country, slavery had existed for centuries. And of course, Dessalines was a slave. Although a slave, he was educated for the benefit of his masters. And then one day, it started to read journals, his master's book. And in those books, he found information about freedom, about brotherhood, about equality among men and women. Of course, those knowledges empowered him to fight to free his people. He made those concepts just words he read on a book. He fought and made those concepts a reality. And then in 1804, Haiti became the first Black independent country. Isn't it wonderful what one information, one piece of knowledge can free a whole country, can say no to injustice. On this last Saturday of October is a month dedicated each year to the Nobel Prizes. That is an acknowledgement of those using sciences or using their knowledges to change the world. I want to remind you that each seed of knowledge can empower, heal, magnify humanity, cure diseases, and liberate humanity. We had an example, Denis Mukwege, who had the Nobel Peace Prize for healing women victims of war. We don't all need to get big prizes, but we all need to practice our knowledge in real life. And believe me, those who benefit from that will always remember, and that will be our prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome. I am happy to be with you today to talk about the importance of education. And now we are moving on to the next part of the meeting. I will call the person that will present the toast on the theme, Toastmaster Glida Shlah. Help me welcome Toastmaster Shlah for the toast on the theme. Toastmaster Shlah, the lead is yours.
We've come together to celebrate the power of education and its impact on our lives. Education that leads forward. I experienced this style of education when I was in grade 2 elementary school. Our science teacher came to the classroom and told us there are only 3 primary colors. And all the other colors you see around you are result of mixing any of 2 of these primary colors. And the primary colors, she said, they're red, blue, and yellow. What she said sounded fictional to me. But she took us to the lab And she tried and she showed us the 3 colors in 3 different jars. She put 1 drop of yellow in an empty jar, and then she took another drop of yellow of blue and put it in a same jar, and magic appeared. We developed a green color. But that wasn't magic. The magic was in the practice of turning her theory into experiment. He made us go through the experience of adding these 2 colors and how we could develop a new color. She went on and asked us to use our imagination now and change the formula. Use more drop of one color, less drop of the other color, and see what shades do we get. And we started doing that. And that's when we realized, and that was the turning point when we learned that magic happens when we purposefully practice. With leadership speak, we understand that transformation happens when learning becomes purposeful action, especially in leadership. But our many practices session between meetings, we make sure to include the feedback we receive from our members. And we include them in our practice to watch ourselves grow and transform. Our coaches and trainers not only share their knowledge and experiences with us, but they also demonstrate their knowledge. They are the first to walk their talk and set an example. Their action motivate us to practice purposefully. They guide us to discover new strength within ourselves through deliberate practice, empowering us to reach our full potential, which is achieving to become self-directed leaders. With leadership speak, we continuously challenge ourselves to renew our knowledge by adapting to change. With leadership speak, education that leads forward is our standard. Ladies and gentlemen, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera and raise your glasses. To education that leads forward.
To education that leads forward.
Thank you for joining me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shlah. Thank you for the toast. We have to learn with purpose and practice what we learn. Thank you for that. To all the guests in the room, there is information shared in the chat. You can fill out the form, and at the end of the meeting, we will connect with you. Now, I will call the timer for today to present the role of a timer. Toastmaster Wahiga to present the timing rule. Madam Timer, the lead is yours.
Thank you. Good day, fellow Toastmasters. I'm your timer for today's meeting. I will time each speaker according to the agenda and signal using the green, yellow, and red backgrounds. After each segment, I'll post the timing results in the chat. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Timer, and she will keep her hand raised so that everyone can see. We're skipping the time. Thank you, Madam Timer. Now I will call the Grammarian of the Day, Toastmaster John Ojefo, to present the word of the day. Toastmaster Ojefo, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The word of the day is empower. It means give someone the power, confidence, and resources to act independently and effectively, make decisions, and take control of their own life. An example of the use of this word in a sentence is the workshop aims to empower participants to take on leadership roles. It's also my duty as grammarian to listen carefully and pay attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language using. I will take note of any improper language as well as outstanding quotes, words, and other aspects. I encourage everyone to use the word of the day because when called upon, I will give my grammarian report, including the use of this word. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ojefo, for the word of the day. And please, speakers and evaluators, please try to put the word of the day in your speeches. The word of the day, empower. Now it's time to call our educational speaker, Toastmaster Jennifer Ellen Ghosh. Once again, dear guests, the information has been put in the chat. Please fill out the form while you are enjoying the meeting, and we will connect with you at the end of the meeting. Our educational speaker today is Jennifer Ellen Ghosh. Before I introduce Toastmaster Ghosh, I will call her evaluator to present the objective of the meeting, Toastmaster Jaires Casinera. Please, Madam Zoom Master, can you spotlight the speaker and the evaluator?
The evaluator seems to be having a little bit of a network issue, but no worries. Let us go straight into the educational keynote. Over to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Iris?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, without any further ado, and guests, today we have the privilege of hearing from a truly inspiring speaker, Jennifer Ghosh, who will be delivering a keynote-style speech entitled Passport to Growth. Jennifer is an accomplished communicator and leader who is passionate of helping others unlock their potential and embrace continuous learning. Her experience, both personal and professional, have shown that growth isn't a destination. It's a lifelong journey filled with lessons, challenges, and opportunities. The objectives of her speech today, Jennifer wants to take us on a journey of discovery, exploring how clarity of purpose, self-awareness, and adaptability can become our greatest passports to success. As you listen, pay special attention on how she uses tone, pace, and audience interaction to connect with us all and bring her message to life. Hallmarks of a truly professional speaker. Please, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, join me in welcoming our educational speaker for today, Jennifer Ghosh, with her keynote style, A Passport to Growth. Over to you, Jennifer Ghosh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Colleague Toastmasters and guests, help me welcome our educational speaker for today, Toastmaster Jennifer Ellen Ghosh. She's working on the path Presentation Mastery and the project Prepare to Speak Professionally. Jennifer is an MBA in Human Resources with over 38 years of experience. She is a post-retirement. She's continued her passion for learning and teaching as a freelance trainer, specializing in English as a second language. She is a Toastmaster for over 17 years and a past region advisor for Region 8. Jennifer held multiple leadership roles, driving membership growth and expansion across Northern and Eastern India. Let's welcome our educational speaker, Toastmaster Jennifer Ellen Ghosh. Education and leadership, the passport to growth. The lead is yours.
Thank you, Youselee. Fellow Toastmasters and self-directed leaders. If life is a journey, then education is our passport. Without it, we can't travel far. With it, we can explore the world, go to new places, meet new people, and above all, build the life we dream of. But there's a catch. How many of you here have ever misplaced your passport before a trip? Can't see many hands. You'll all seem very, very unforgetful. Wow. It's a terrible feeling, right? The panic, the confusion, the dread. You may have already packed your bags, booked your tickets, and even showed up at the airport. But without one document, you are going nowhere. That's exactly how life feels without leadership, in my opinion. You may have the best education in the world, but without leadership, you're just standing at the airport of life, bags in hand, watching others fly past you. Let's go back to our foundation, rewinding you back to your childhood. Who here on this platform remembers their first day of school? Some of you may have been too small to have remembered. But I do remember some nuggets from my young school days. Yes, some of us cried. Some clung to our parents, and a few brave souls cried and clung to other people's parents. Yeah, that was a joke. I still remember the days when my little children grew up to enter school. They were just about 3.5, 4, and it was time to drop them off at school. My elder son was an absolute dream. He'd smile, hold the teacher's hand, and walk away smartly without a single tear or even a backward glance. As a mother, it used to make me feel really sad. But my younger son, he had a different approach completely. Many of you may resonate with this. He cried so hard, so consistently, that the principal gently suggested that we station a family member at school until he adjusted. Yes, my poor mother-in-law had to become a part-time resident at the school, and for over a month, she sat patiently on campus. Whenever Saurabh, my younger son, cried, the teachers would take him around and point out to his grandmother. And that somehow would bring him a little comfort. Truly a climax to those school drop-offs. Frankly, school was more than just maths and science. You will all agree, we learned how to make friends, how to share, how to stand in a line, and even break the line in moments when the teachers turn their backs. School gave us more than information. It gave us values, built our teamwork, created curiosity, and most importantly, a sense of identity. And then came our first taste of leadership. How many of you here remember that first taste of leadership? Yes, I mean it. Becoming the school monitor, right? So that gave us the taste of our first leadership. We became the monitor of our class. Ah, the glory, the pride, until you realized that your only job was to write your friends' names on the blackboard for constantly talking in class. Now, suddenly, leadership became pretty dangerous. Now you weren't just a monitor, you also became a traitor. But that's where leadership began, in small, simple moments, in learning responsibility, in learning how to influence, manage, and serve others. Let's go back beyond the classroom. But then life suddenly decides to take over. Enough of the textbooks, life said. Let's do the practical test now. Life doesn't hand you multiple choice questions. It throws at you deadlines, disappointments, dilemmas, and yes, in-laws too. let me share a little about my journey, or about me in particular. I come from a mixed race community called Anglo-Indians. We're a unique group rooted in both Britain and Indian cultures. English is my mother tongue. My faith is Christianity, and our history is a blend of the East and the West. And then I got married into a Bengali Hindu family. My husband, the only son with 5 sister-in-laws. So who better than me to understand the plights of in-laws? But don't worry, we made it work through love, mutual respect, and a little bit of leadership. Because leadership is not about standing on a podium. It's about listening when others speak, staying calm in chaos, and choosing peace over ego. Leadership is like being in a family WhatsApp group. Many of you may have already experienced this family WhatsApp group, right? You don't always want to be in it, but somehow you seem to have the responsibility for keeping everyone calm, happy, and under 200 messages a day. Exactly. Sometimes real leadership is just having the patience to answer. Have you eaten, Jenny? 15 times a day from 5 different people. Frustrating, yeah? But they're concerned. I always used to think. Education beyond classrooms. And then Toastmasters happened. I thought I joined Toastmasters to improve my English. Let me tell you, dear self-directed leaders, Toastmasters is a trap. You come in for public speaking, thinking, okay, just one speech. No, maybe 2. Next thing you know, someone is handing the gavel to you and saying, congratulations, Jennifer. You're our new VP Education. Huh? Let me ask all of you. How many of you joined Toastmasters just to improve your speaking, but ended up taking a leadership role? Here's the proof, right? Absolutely. But I loved leadership. This organization is run by volunteers. And volunteers, let me tell you, are really kind-hearted people who don't know how to say no in time. But jokes apart, here's the truth. Toastmasters is where education meets application. Here we don't just talk about leadership. We live it. We learn to give feedback so gently. We learn to take feedback so gracefully. We learn to lead without power. And we learn to serve members and leaders alike without ego. And we do all this in the most supportive, fun, and safe environment, just like we are now in Leadership Speak, one of the most safest environments for all of us. Right? Hannah will agree. In Toastmasters, we stamp our passports with confidence growth, and community. Let's go forward to the passport of growth. So my self-directed leaders, education and leadership, they are not separate things. They're like two separate pages of the same passport. Education opens doors. Leadership decides where you go and what you experience. That's the stamp that proves you were there. But just like any real passport, you all must have seen Brahm flashing his passport before the session. Just like any other passport or a real passport, this one too can expire. You stop learning, it expires. You avoid responsibility, it expires. You refuse to grow, expired. So how do we keep it active? Renew it with continuous learning, which we do. Stamp it with bold actions and brave choices. Sometimes could be hard. Visa it with leadership roles, whether big roles or small, because ultimately growth is a choice. Take my friend Hannah, for example. Yeah, she's sitting right in front of me smiling. She has been a member of Toastmasters for 15 long years and is relentless in her pursuit of excellence. I am simply in awe of her. She often shares that her start was gradual, and at times she misses having a mentor or a buddy back in the days to offer guidance or encouragement. However, everything changed in the year 2020 for Hannah. Hannah became what she likes to call in her own words, hashtag Zoom hopper, exploring clubs around the world, connecting with fellow Toastmasters and learning from each new experience. For the past 3 years, she has found a home with Leadership Speak, a premium club, as we all know, for self-directed leaders. Here, she has developed critical thinking skills, boosted her self-confidence, and polished and honed her communication skills. Hannah truly believes that her speaking and evaluation skills or abilities have significantly improved. She is truly enjoying every part of her Toastmasters journey, just like me. As many of you may or may not know, after I completed my term as Region Advisor on June 30th, 2025, I am now stepping forward to run for International Director from Region 8. This journey, let me tell you, is absolutely rigorous. Preparation is deep and reflection has to be totally inward. I have to give an unwavering commitment. It's challenging, let me tell you, my dear self-directed leaders. It's demanding, and yes, it can also be a little scary, a little daunting. But let me tell you, I embrace it with open arms. Please ask me why. I want to hear you. Just unmute and ask me why.
Why?
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 Thank
Why?
you. All right, thank you. I love that. I love
Why?
that passion. I love that eagerness. Because I have renewed myself through continuous learning, earned my visa through diverse leadership roles, stamped my journey with bold, decisive actions. I truly believe this next step is not just a role. It is my passport to growth. Finally, if you remember nothing else from my speech today, remember these 3 things. 1, education gives us the passport. 2, leadership gives us the visa. And 3, continuous renewal ensures our passport to growth never expires. So let me leave you with one thought. When the immigration officer of opportunity calls out your name, Youselee, Hannah, and maybe Brahms, will your passport be ready? Stamped with learning, visas of leadership, and renewed with courage and commitment. I hope your answer is a bold and confident, yes, I'm ready to board. Thank you for this opportunity, and back to you, Youselee, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ghosh, for this brilliant, accurate presentation. Thank you. We have learned a lot from you. Leadership is not standing on a podium. It's listening, calm in chaos, respect, peace. Leadership is patience as well. And our education is our passport. Our leadership role is our visa. And when we keep learning and practicing, we are renewing our passport and our visa. Thank you for those lessons that you brought to us today, Toastmaster Jennifer Ellen Ghosh. And please, everyone, you can put your comment on the chat to encourage the speaker, to let her know how you appreciate the effort, how you appreciate her work. Please, dear guests, once again, we are truly happy to have you here today. So we are sharing information in the chat for you. Take a minute to fill out the form, and at the end of the meeting, we will connect with you. Now we are moving on to our prepared speeches. Our first speaker for today is distinguished Toastmaster Irfan Farooqui. Before I introduce the speaker, I will call his evaluator to present the objective of the speech. I call the evaluator now, the Toastmaster Sonia. Toastmaster Sonia, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Hello, everyone. Irfan's project is part of the Motivational Strategy Pathway, Level 1, the Icebreaker Project. The purpose of this project is to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. In addition, when I connected with Irfan, he wanted me to focus on his Zoom framing and if his speech covers a comprehensive introduction to aspects of his life and aligns with his pathway. All the best, Irfan. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Irfan Farooqui will present a speech on the path, he changed the path, on visionary communication. It will be his icebreaker. He is a strong believer in continuous learning for self-improvement. For him, learning is like an activity, and learning at places as Toastmaster is important, but learning at class, in school, is also important. That's why he keep learning and already have several degrees. Today, the title of his speech is Follow the White Rabbit, in which he will let us know a little bit more about him. Toastmaster Irfan Farooqui, Follow the White Rabbit. The lead is yours.
Hello, Toastmasters. Imagine it is dark at night. A person named Neo is half asleep sitting in front of his computer, head down on the table. Suddenly, the computer screen lights up and a message appears. Wake up, Neo. And he's surprised what this message is. And suddenly, another message appears on the screen. Follow the white rabbit. And then immediately, knock, knock. There's a knock on the door. Neo goes to the door, opens the door, and finds a pair standing in the door. The girl has a tattoo of white rabbit on her shoulder. Dear friends, how many of you remember this iconic scene from the movie Matrix? I would like to just you to write I do in the comments so that I see how many of you are aware of this fantastic movie Matrix. Just write I do. Fellow Toastmasters, my life started from schooling, had certain desires. I was full of various desires. At that life, my father wanted me to be a doctor, as is generally considered important in our subcontinent culture. But I asked my father, I have no disrespect for this profession, but the fact is, it is very difficult for me to remember so many books by heart, very problematic for me to study from day till night and don't have any room of living the life. I never wanted a life like that. I requested him to let me change or choose my field of life. And hence, I opted for the business management subject and made my career in business management. My desire was to live a good life. Then moving forward, when I joined the official work in my life, when I started my career from a business organization, again, I had to face the same issue. Many a times I was asked to follow the instructions given by not only my senior manager, not only by the heads of the department, but sometimes I was asked to follow those brown nosers. Not on merit. The decision was because they are saying so, I should do that. Again, it was a very important task in my life. I never want to follow blindly anybody. Many times it happens with us in our life that we have to face a situation where people enforce their dreams, their desires, their lifestyle upon us. Where they want, we should follow them. But all of us We all have our own desires. And all of you who work in commercial organization and professional business setups, have you ever faced anything like that? Have you come across such crossroads in your life? If yes, please say yes in the chats. My dear fellows, the life is full of various dreams, illusions, others' dreams. And in this jungle of dreams, if you try, you will find out somewhere hidden there is your dream. I have always tried to follow my own dreams in my life. I have tried to do what I want to do in my life. And as a result, I have faced problems. I had to sacrifice promotions. But you see, following my own white rabbit has resulted in giving me authenticity, freedom, self-respect. My dear fellow Toastmasters, this journey has led me today into the leadership speak. To become a self-directed leader, not following anyone else's false steps, finding my own path in my life. And the reason why I want to do is I have sacrificed many issues and many opportunities in life. I sacrificed many promotions. I sacrificed many titles that could have been my own. But what I did is what I wanted to do. I spent the life the way I wanted to spend the life. And if you choose by yourself, you will find out that the best satisfaction will come when you do what you want to do, when you follow your white rabbit. Ladies and gentlemen, I want that at the end of my life, whenever I look back at my life, I would happily say, in the words of Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Farooqui, for this inspirational speech in which you encourage all of us to keep following our own white rabbit. When we follow, yes, we will have to make some sacrifices, but at the end, we will remain authentic to ourselves, free, and will gain self-respect. Thank you for this message. Once again, dear guests, do not forget to fill out the form that was posted in the chat. Now, I am calling our second speaker for today, Toastmaster Deepti Tak. Before I introduce the speaker, I am calling her evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Panicker, to present the objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Deepti will be presenting her speech from the legendary path Effective Coaching, Level 1, Project 3. The project is Introduction to Local Vocal Variety and Body Language, and the purpose is to present a speech on any topic and use vocal variety or body language or both. During our Connect meet, she had mentioned very specifically to focus on vocal variety, that is pitch, pace, and volume. Best wishes. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Panicker. Toastmaster Tak is working on the path Effective Coaching. For her, learning happens when education is applied into practice. Education focuses on nurturing skills like emotional intelligence and leadership. The title of her speech today is Differences Are Not Defect. Toastmaster Deepti Tak, differences are not defect. The lead is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, very, very good day to all of you. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever met someone who made you pause and think, wow, they are so different from me? Maybe the way they spoke, their accent, maybe the way they dressed. You can hear me, right? Maybe the way they dressed, or maybe it was the way they thought. Now, when you met people who were different, what happened? Did you feel curious? Oh, let me know new people, new way of dressing, a different costume. How beautiful. Different colors. How nice. Did you feel that way? Or did you feel uncomfortable? Oh, what is this? No, I have not seen this before. Oh, whether I should talk to her or not. So tonight, I want to talk about something very simple yet powerful. Differences. Not the kind that divide us, but the kind that define us. We live in a world of dazzling diversity. Languages, customs, beliefs, behaviors, all swirling together in this beautiful mosaic we call humanity. But somewhere along the way, we were taught or we just assume that differences are wrong, differences are not safe. That if someone doesn't think like us, doesn't talk like us, doesn't dress like us, or maybe has some different way of connection, they must be corrected. Because we have been thinking about right and wrong, yes or no. But the world is wide. There are so many beautiful shades of different colors. So either we try to correct them or the worse, reject. Oh, who will speak to that person? Is so different. But there is no universal right and there is no universal normal. What may be perfectly fine for me may be something else to others. But there is only one thing. Different is not a defect. It's a beauty. Let me share a conversation when I joined new in my company. I was very new and quite junior. My senior colleague, Kala, she came to me and said, "Hi, Deepti." I said, "Hi, Kala, how are you?" She said, "Deepti, I just want to share something with you. I hope you don't mind." "No, Kala, I don't mind. I'm here to learn." "Deepti, you don't speak much. I have seen you did not contribute many ideas in the team meeting." "Oh, actually, I don't speak immediately. I first think about the idea, then I formulate it so that I don't make any mistake." Actually, our senior editor, Mr. Arun, was thinking you're not interested. "Oh, no, I was very much interested in the meeting. You know, it was so informative and so many new concepts came along the way. So I was just noting down." "Oh, okay. So you first think and then speak." "Oh, yes, I was raised in that way. Even my school teachers taught that don't blurt out. First think, then speak." "All right. That's okay. Now I understand you." Also, last week in the lunch meeting, they were saying you don't speak much. Oh, I think I take time to charge, but I'll remember this. Yes, I'll speak to everyone from now. Thank you so much, Miss Kala. That's okay. It's my duty. Yeah. Have a nice day. Have a nice day, you too. Now, what did I learn from this? I learned that we don't take everything in the same way. I was thinking silence is a mark of respect. Let me first think, otherwise the speaker will get offended. And then I will tell when the time is allotted for me, I will contribute. But that's not the way. Each one is different. So I learned that there are so many differences. This is just like how everyone is wired. Someone is introvert, others may be extrovert. And there are many more differences. Cultural differences, like silence is mark of respect. And if you share more, then you are being friendly. So all these differences, you come to know as you grow up, work in different places, because that gives you exposure to people from different cultures. So I was engrossed in the meeting and others thought that I'm not interested, I don't like them, but that was not the point. And she understood that, okay, this girl is different. So when you talk about differences, you build bridges. But when you judge differences, you build walls. Walls, no communication. Oh, she has a bad behavior. Oh, she's not good. So build bridges. We don't have to build walls. And then whether it's cultural, cognitive, emotional, or behavioral, difference is not a threat. It's an invitation. Come, speak to me. All of us belong here. We will share ideas and learn from each other. Because education is strategic, we all learn to set goals, manage time, and reflect on our progress. But this cannot happen if we don't connect with each other well. Now, even in this room, people from 32 nationalities, we meet every Saturday on this background, and then have we really connected at a deeper level? But we can learn so much from each other, I'm sure. So, how do we do that? We should observe without judgment. We should ask and not assume that she's not friendly. No, ask, why don't you speak? What happened? Then connect beyond roles. We should not only think as a colleague or something, but also at a personal and friendly level, we can connect. We have to pause and ask, what shaped your silence? What is sense of belonging to your culture? Because when we do, we don't just become better speakers, we become better teammates, and we also become better listeners. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tak, for the message today. There's no universal right or universal wrong, and you encourage us to build bridges by connecting to each other without judgment, by talking about our differences. Thank you for this message today. Now we are moving on to our third speaker today, Toastmaster Hmok. Before I introduce the speaker, I'm calling her evaluator, Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt, to present the objective of the speech.
Madam Toastmaster of the day, Helen is going to speak from Persuasive Influence, Level 1, Project 1, obviously her icebreaker. And the purpose statement is the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Schmidt. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our third speaker for today, Toastmaster Hmok. The title of her speech is The Journey to Happiness. The Journey to Happiness, Toastmaster Hmok.
Everything began with the dreams of a little girl who used to gaze at the stars from a corner of the world, a small village in Vietnam. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Growing up in my village, Erang in Vietnam, I was fascinated by starry night. Those nights not only filled my heart with hope, but also nourished my dreams of a life full of possibilities. I would borrow books and read under national light, imagining myself in different places with access to knowledge and opportunities. My father's stories about the world and its possibilities motivated me to study very hard and pursue my goals. As time went by, my father passed away. It was a big challenge to face, but his word of motivation stayed with me. I pursued higher education, earning a bachelor degree in physics from the University of Havana in Cuba, and a master and a PhD in physics of materials from Mexico. Today, I am a researcher and lecturer at the University of Mexico, the National Autonomous University of Mexico. As I grew older, I realized that I was always prioritizing the other people's needs over my own. I felt exhausted and lost. But I realized that losing myself was necessary to find what truly matters in my life. I started listening to myself, loving myself, and prioritizing my own happiness. 2 years ago, I was invited to give a presentation in a scientific conference and receive applause and appreciation. It was the first time I felt extremely happy, and I realized that sharing my knowledge to other people brings me joy. Therefore, I joined Leadership Speak to improve my leadership and communication, to connect better with other people, and to gain the confidence in my communication. I have learned that leadership and communication with empathy and persuasion are essential for achieving success. Each step I have taken taught me that living is not moving forward, but also understanding myself. And to truly make a difference in others' life, I need to prioritize my own happiness first. I encourage to anyone to take a moment to reflect on their journey and to prioritize their own happiness. By doing so, we become the best version of ourselves and make a positive impact on those around us. The journey to happiness matters. Have you discovered your happiness? Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hmok, for this presentation. Thank you. I like the audience. Thank you, dear audience. After each presentation, I see some clapping. I saw heart moving along. Thank you for that. You are a great audience. Thank you, Toastmaster Hmok. You teach us today that in order to make positive impact on others, we have to discover ourselves first. We have to prioritize our own happiness. Thank you for the message. And once again, dear guests, you are encouraged to fill out the form in the chat, and we'll get in touch with you at the end of the meeting. You are all encouraged as well to put some comment in the chat to encourage our speakers and to let them know what you have learned from their presentation. Now, I'm calling our last speaker for today, Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. Before I present the speaker, I'm calling his evaluator, Toastmaster Lydia Wanjiku, to present the objective of the speech.
Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Paramjit is attempting his persuasive influence path, level 1, project 1. When I connected with Paramjit, he requested me to give him feedback on his vocal variety. The purpose of his speech is to motivate the audience, never give up. All the best, Paramjit. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Wanjiku. For Toastmaster Singh, it feels that education always leads us forward if we use knowledge that we get in the right direction. He is working on becoming a motivational speaker. Please listen to him and put comment on the chat to encourage him as well. The title of his speech is Checkmate. Checkmate, Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. The lead is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. My apologies. I'm speaking from my car because I'm still on the way back because my car broke down on the way. So now I'll let me start my speech. You are fired. April 2013, Monday. This was not the type of motivation I was looking for. But my boss told me, you are fired. The truth is, my boss and me are having different styles of working. I'm not his south. I am logical, but he's legendary. Ultimately, I was styled out and shown the gate. Now, I was jobless now. See, in UAE, when you lose a job, it doesn't mean that you lost only financial things. The others which are connected with is your visa finishes in 1 month, you cannot live more over here, and you have to pack everything and bring your family back to India or to the native place. So it was a big challenge for me to find a job in UAE because the type of expertise I am having in design and development of plastic products, there are very few companies who are looking for such. And but still, I tried for different jobs, even out of my field, but nothing worked out. And now time was just passing on, and I was almost like in a depression. It was really a very challenging and tough time for whole family. And Of course, I tried, but I didn't get you. But the top of it, your family's remarks, wife is asking, where are you going? Why are you not going? Will you take your bath today? Or some relative saying, oh, it's to start work. And somebody saying, no, it's time to meditate. And the one of the favorite one was telling me, oh, Paramjit, this is to build a character. Uncle, I already have a character. I need money. I'm not able to find the way to be in UAE for more time. All this, it was very difficult to pass the whole day. So I started scrolling YouTube, looking for different videos, cat videos, motivational videos, inspirational video. However, it was just to make myself busy with something so that I did not get distracted. And then something came across me about a picture called Checkmate. Now, this picture is available in Lower Paris. And if you see this picture, there are devil and a king. And devil is very happy because he has won the game. And the king is really in despair. He's sweating. And he's feel like he's defeated. For years, people were thinking that this is the meaning of defeat. This picture is about defeat. However, when John Hmok, one of the biggest chess players, he one day went to this museum after Olympics. And he sat in front of the picture. And for a long time, he was watching the picture. And then he said, this is not checkmate. The king has still one move. The king has still one move. And that hit it. That changed my total perspective. If king has one move, it means I also have one move. It changed the whole scenario for me. Now, instead of waking up very late, I started polishing my resume. Instead of complaining to God, I started thankful to him for giving me a push. And instead of writing letters out to unknown people, I started networking. And then one day, one of my seniors from my college was migrating to India. He referred my name to his company. And next week, I joined that company where still I'm working for the last 15 years now. With better perks, with better growth, and with a better boss. This was really encouraging. He has one more move, has engraved in my mind and in my every cell of my body, and I have been benefited from it. Whenever I'm in despair, whenever I feel there's nothing over there, I know the king has one more move. My dear friends, how many of you feel like the king in this picture? Thank you very much. So if you believe that you are cornered, if you believe you are outdone, if you feel you're finished, there's no chance, it's 100% hopelessness, don't surrender. Smile. And in eyes in devil's eyes or my boss eye, just say, king has one more. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Singh. We truly appreciate your engagement to the club. Even if you couldn't get home, still you presented your speech. Thank you for this presentation and thank you for the encouragement as well. even if everything seems hard, hopeless. Do not surrender because we still have one last move. Thank you for your message. Thank you for the encouragement. Now I'm asking that was our last speaker. So I'm asking the timer to please put the time in the chat. In the meantime, I'm asking the guests to please fill out the guest book and we will talk to you at the end of the meeting. Madam Timer, the time, please. And I'm asking as well our Zoom master to please share the polls so that we can vote for the best effort speaker. 1 minute to vote.
The wrong poll, I think. Okay.
Madam Zoom Master, are we good now, please? Thank you to everyone for voting, and thank you to the timer for posting the timing report in the chat. And now I will call our general evaluator. We know at Toastmasters International, we come to deliver speeches, we come to play role. Most importantly, we come to get feedback for our improvement. Now it's time to get the feedback. I'm calling the general evaluator, none other than the club president, Toastmaster Holmes Teng, our general evaluator. For him, the theme, education that leads forward, reminds him that true learning must bring transformation, not just in what we know, but in how we lead and serve others. Mr. General Evaluator, the lead is yours.
Thank you, TMOD. Members and guests, as General Evaluator, I'll be leading you through the evaluation section, which includes calling out each of the evaluators, giving them feedback, followed by the grammarian, as well as my general evaluation report. Guests, as you may have noticed, each of our evaluator plays a different role from most community clubs. An evaluator is not assigned at the very last minute just before the meeting. Instead, they are assigned sometimes a month or more, typically at least 2 weeks. Why do we do this? It is because at Leadership Speak, we believe that the speaker and the evaluator work in collaboration. It is a partnership. And this partnership is most beneficial when the speaker and evaluator takes time and effort to prepare early, to connect. The speaker would share with the evaluator, this is my project. Based on this project, I want to learn this. I want to focus on this competency. From my previous evaluation, the evaluator talked about this and this. These are what I want to focus on. And that is why today you have been hearing the evaluators consistently saying, after they introduce the project purpose, they talked about when I connected with the speaker wanted me to focus on X, Y, and Z. With this frame in mind, let us move into the evaluation section and see what the evaluators have that we can all learn from. Our first evaluator is evaluating our toast. It's Aswathy Rajan. When asked how is the team important to her, she said, as an instructional coach and passionate educator, she believes education is the most powerful tool to transform lives. She lives this belief through her venture, Success e-learning. Over to you, Aswathy.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Holmes. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, a magic was created then, and a magic happened today. When our speaker, Toastmaster Glida, shared that simple yet enchanting story of mixing colors in her classroom. It reminded us that education itself is magic, the power to transform curiosity into creativity. From that moment of discovery to the reflection on purposeful learning at Leadership Speak, Glida beautifully connected the past to the present. I loved the way she did that. The metaphor of colors merging to form new shades perfectly, it symbolized how learning, when practiced with purpose, leads to a complete transformation. For me, specifically, it wasn't just a story, it was a lesson in action. Now, the speech had excellent structure, a warm opening, a personal story, and a reflective closure. The specific line that I took from her speech was, our coaches and trainers not only share knowledge, but ensure we apply it. So that line powerfully conveyed the essence of practical education, and the transition from story to the club culture was beautifully managed. But there comes a small recommendation. I felt there is a slight imbalance between story and that message. Most of the script is occupied by your childhood experiment, but the transition to Leadership Speak and the practices was little brief and somewhat declarative. The speech needs a stronger linking sentence to show how that experiment directly mirrors what the club does. Now, it feels that there are two related things, but still separate things. So that is one recommendation. Now, the other point that I loved in your speech was the delivery. Delivery-wise, the tone was sincere, the pacing was calm, and the language was crisp. The closing invitation that you had in your speech, please unmute your microphones, turn on your camera, and raise your glasses, that created a lovely moment of connection. I just felt so connected when you asked us to do so. You did not just deliver a toast, you made everyone a part of it. And that's where the second magic happened in engagement. But here comes the second recommendation. To enhance the impact even more in the virtual settings, I suggest focusing on your eye contact through the camera lens. Most of the times I felt your eyes were rolling upwards and as if you are thinking something, thus breaking that connect between you and the audience. So by looking directly into the camera when delivering especially the key phrases such as at Leadership Speak, we value education that leads us forward. The speaker actually can create that sense of personal connection even through the virtual screen. So to summarize, overall, this was a thoughtful, structured, and inspiring toast that celebrated the essence of learning and leadership. With a slight modification in the transitioning and a little work on your eye contact, you can make this a wonderful toast. A toast that blended heart, purpose, and eloquence. Truly education that leads forward. All the very best, Toastmaster Glida. Thank you, and over to you, Holmes.
Thank you, Aswathy. Members and guests, I hope you have noticed how Aswathy was able to give detailed evaluation by focusing on multiple points, and when she bring up those points, she would say the example, what exactly Glida has done, and then followed by explaining why she chose to highlight the point. This is a structure that I encourage all evaluators to follow so that we understand what is it that you want to highlight about your observation that you have chosen. A suggestion to Aswathy would be the timing. Aswathy is a very generous evaluator, so she has given many points. I would encourage all evaluators to choose approximately 2 to 4 points, and for the rest of the points, to connect with the speaker or the role player after the meeting and share it there. Thank you so much, Aswathy. Our next evaluator is Arona Soul, who will be evaluating our TMOD. When asked why the team matters to him, he says, knowledge is the cornerstone of all improvement. Over to you, Arona, to evaluate our TMOD.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good morning, fellow Toastmaster and guests. I will give my evaluation on Youselee delivering on 3 parts. First of all, things she did well, room of improvement, and I will end by a summary. First of all, I noticed that Youselee were well prepared for this role, starting by creating the WhatsApp group of the meeting at least 3 weeks before the meeting, and also invited all the speakers to connect with their evaluators. After that, I noticed that Youselee also invited all the key role players to connect with the trainers. Congratulations on that. I saw that this good preparation allows Youselee to conduct this meeting smoothly and also to introduce all the speakers in the good manners. And also, Youselee practice well active listening by sharing with us takeaways after each speaks. That's also a good point. In terms of improvements, I noticed just one hesitation at the beginning of the prepared speeches when she tried to introduce the educational speakers. The good way is to call first evaluator and after that the speakers. And as Toastmaster BD, she will supposed to have the full control of the meeting. Apart from that, congratulations, Youselee, you did well. For the next project, try to make the transition between speakers and evaluators smoothly. And back to you, dear General Evaluator.
Thank you, Arona. What you observe from Arona today is that he started off saying how he will structure his evaluation. This would help the speaker as well as us as audience to understand what is coming. A feedback for Arona is that I acknowledge he's likely at work. However, nevertheless, there could be some gestures using his hands. For example, my first point, My second point, I would encourage you to. These gestures would help to anchor the message, and with a bright smile and welcoming gesture to also encourage the speaker, as well as members and guests here who are learning from Aruna. Thank you so much, Aruna. There's a bit of... Our next evaluator is evaluating our educational speaker. He is Aries Casalena. When asked why the team matters to him, he says, education that leads forward is the heart of what we do, turning every evaluation into an opportunity for learning, growth, and confidence to take the next step. Over to you, Aries.
Today, Jennifer took us on a truly inspiring journey with her keynote, A Passport to Growth. From the moment she opened with that vivid image, arriving at the airport without passport. I'm guilty as charged. She immediately connected to me. She immediately drew us in. It was such a clever way to illustrate how essential leadership is and how we all need to be prepared to be purposeful and intentional with our growth. Jennifer's message was not only clear and powerful, but deeply personal. She reminded us that leadership, just like a passport, can expire if we don't keep learning. It is through learning, continuous learning, as she said. She connected truthfully and beautifully with the audience as she was asking questions, inviting reflection, and tying her message to the Toastmaster journey that you all can relate to. Jennifer, your delivery was strong and engaging. You spoke with the clarity. You asked me to look at your clarity. And yes, you spoke with the clarity. And not only clarity, but with the confidence. Your tone and the pace were just right. Your body language, I loved it. Your gestures, your facial expressions, your emotions just added more warmth into your speech. I could actually feel the leadership that comes from you. I loved your message about continuous learning, continuous renewing, and courage. That was powerful. And it was really a powerful call to action and a great way to end your speech. Now, Jennifer, if I may just offer a couple of small quick suggestions to make your speech or your next keynote even stronger for the foreseeable future. First, use pause more deliberately. After powerful lines like life doesn't just present you questions, it presents you headlines, end of quote. A brief pause would give the audience time to reflect and let those words truly sink in, truly land. Second, be a bit more with your vocal variety. I mean, you're good. You already have great control of your tone, but adding a little more energy during transitions and the softening during emotional moments could make your delivery even more captivating. So Jennifer, once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing such a powerful and personal message, for inspiring us all today to keep learning, to keep growing, and leading with courage. Over to you, Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Aries. Thank you, Aries. We can observe from Aries that even as an evaluator, we can be passionate. We can express our love, our conviction based on listening to the speaker that we are evaluating. And I want to commend Aries for this. A feedback for Aries is that I noticed for the first half of the evaluation, your hands were mostly in fist, and you were doing this quite a bit. Well, this kind of action does add the passion and show your conviction. Doing this multiple times, especially when your hands are closed in fist, can suggest that you are also being in an enclosed state rather than welcoming state. This is something that I really believe in. Maybe an alternative. Thank you so much, Aries. Our next evaluator is evaluating our first project speaker. The evaluator is Sonia. And when asked why the team matters to her, she says, true learning matters only when it changes how we lead, act, and inspire. Over to you, Sonia.
Thank you, Holmes. Irfan, your speech today demonstrated a clear takeaway that it's best to follow your own calling rather than what family members, teachers, or professionals are telling us. From the opening line, you captured our attention with a tale with the white rabbit, and also engaged us by remembering a movie scene. Now, let me highlight a few areas where you excelled, and then share a few opportunities to elevate your influence even further. First, your opening story about the white rabbit was engaging, and I really was eager to know what happens next in that story. I was glued to the screen. Second, your speech structure, you kept your speech structure clear, didn't add too many elements, you just had your tale and your stories and examples from your personal life. And you were leading us through your life from past to current events. Third, you made us clearly understand why following the white rabbit has paid off for you, despite having to sacrifice promotions and other advancements. But in the end, you feel satisfied with your own choices by looking back, and you brought clear examples of that. Now, if I can please make some recommendations. To strengthen your impact even further, consider a transition from the white rabbit tail to the main body. For me, it was not clear how the white rabbit tail and the events from your personal life are relating together. How they are related together. That transition was missing, in my opinion. Then there is also an opportunity to improve your Zoom framing, as you had asked me about it. I can advise it is better to use a blank background, because visuals like me are more focused on what can be seen on your background. I caught myself doing that rather than carefully listening to your speech. And remaining mostly on one spot and rather using your arms and facial expressions to bring emphasis to the story, I believe is better than moving back and forth, closer to the camera and away from it. Also, your facial expressions could have been stronger. For example, when there was a knock on the door. Basically, everybody wants to know what is happening, who is coming in. While you engaged us with a particular movie scene, I could not understand how it was fitting in, and I personally don't know the movie scene. Now, finally, to elevate the delivery, you achieved your objective as you asked me to provide a comprehensive insight from your past to current events. And you motivated us by giving clear examples from your life that it is better to follow our own path than listen to others. What I would like to see from you is, though, how can we do that? What techniques can I apply to gently resist the demands and appeals from my parents and teachers? And how can I actually find my own calling? Because I struggled most of the time with it. Overall, I think it was a strong performance because you are a very confident speaker. And I'm looking forward to your next presentation to build on today's success. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. I acknowledge that you are a very detailed evaluator who has taken a lot of notes. And perhaps it is because of how much notes you have taken. I can also observe that majority of the time you were paying very close attention to your notes as you were speaking. It is indeed our advice that if speakers and evaluators need to refer to the notes, to have it as close to the camera as possible. Nevertheless, it is also a good practice that after looking at a few words from the notes, then look straight at the camera, or in a physical context, look straight at the audience eyes, so that there's better connection with them. Thank you so much, Sonia. Our next evaluator is Vinod. And when asked why the team matters to him, he says, education is the beginning. Applying and reflecting on it helps us lead. Over to you, Vinod.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Deepti, you reminded me of my university days when I was taking a cultural intelligence lecture and the professor said, same is safe, different is dangerous. But your takeaway message today was, difference is not a threat, it's an invitation. And that message was sound and clear. Now, as you created bridges and walls in your speeches, I am going to walk through that bridge and show you the 2 points that stood out for me. Then I will show you 2 walls that I came across. The first bridge, or the first scene from the bridge, your confidence. You have an executive presence. Even though you were sitting, you were smiling and you owned the screen. Not everybody is very comfortable to own the screen. You have that executive presence and the smile to carry the speech. The second thing that I felt while I was walking through the bridge was the topic. It was apt and relevant to the club, to the audience, because we are from 32 countries and this topic of difference is a threat. Don't think of difference as a threat, but think it of as an invitation came through your speech. Now, the walls where I saw the wall. The first is the message. I am only looking at the claim you made and the evidence that you gave. There was only one story, and in your own story or speech, you mentioned there are differences in culture, cognitive, and emotional. It would have been better if you could have given one story of a cultural difference, one story of a cognitive difference, and one story of an emotional difference. In the structure, cut the fluff of the opening. Thank you very much and all these things. We don't need that. And in the end, you were rushing because most of the time I felt you were like a sage from the stage. You were smiling, smile, and the world will smile. Ha ha ha. It was all preaching. Only there were few points where it came across through. So just stick to the message and add these 3 points of cultural, cognitive, and emotional. The second was your volume. That is what the project purpose was. You had one character, color, and I felt it was monotone. There was an opportunity when you said, I was interested in the meeting, color. You could have raised your voice. This project is to break the glass ceiling for your voice and your gestures. The third was, of course, your Zoom presence. Stand up and have a plain background. Overall, I feel you are a confident speaker. You chose a relevant topic. If you stand and speak and structure the speech through your message, you will amplify your message. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vinod. Members and guests, 2 points I'd like to point out from Vinod's evaluation for learning purposes. Number one, notice that when he was introducing the structure of his speech, he was using bridges. His use of analogies, especially those that are from or relate to the speaker, better helps demonstrate that we are giving an evaluation specific to this particular speech that we are all talking about and learning from. The second, Vinod also gave direct suggestions, saying how the content can be restructured or removing or adding certain content with the clear intention to help the speaker better deliver the core message. This is what all evaluators here today we are doing. Thank you so much, Vinod. Our next evaluator is evaluating the third project speaker, and that is Hannah. When asked why the team matters to her, she says, education that leads forward means shaping leaders and inspiring them. Over to you, Hannah.
Mr. General Evaluator, and especially Helen, that was a powerful and heartwarming icebreaker speech, full of sadness, empathy, and ending with your journey to happiness. What was in it for me as your evaluator? Your opening statement of how you were fascinated by your stories about the world told by your father, that immediately grabbed my attention. It resonated with me and reminded me of my own childhood and my father. Your speech was well structured, following a chronological sequence from your early childhood experience as a young girl in a village in Vietnam, where you would read all the books of information under the starlight. Your young adulthood, prioritizing others' needs instead of your own, and then eventually achieving your bachelor's, master's, and professor's degrees in physics at 2 universities. That is an inspirational message for me, maybe for you, to become the best version of yourself, of myself. And then 2 years ago, when I was invited to give my presentation, Helen, that is all a journey to happiness. Some points that you really excelled at was your clear voice. Told me about your stories in Vietnam, about your ambition when your dad told you all about the outside world, and your enthusiasm to losing yourself and finding yourself. Your speech was complemented by your hand gestures, which enhanced your delivery even more, such as gazing at the skies, clenching your hands in front of your chest when you were happy, clutching your cheeks of what brings you joy, showing sadness when your dad passed away. 2 years ago, you received the applaud, clapping your hands. One could see that excitement in your face, so full of enthusiasm. You also looked at the camera, which improved your eyes contact, and I observed your journey to happiness. Helen, I do have some challenges for you, just a few. Your smile was contagious, yet here and there it seemed a bit forced. I noticed that you were standing in one place when you spoke, maintaining a good Zoom presence, yet make use of the frame. Move towards the sky right at the beginning. And Helen, your icebreaker speech was just the start, a stepping stone to an excellent way to step into growth and confidence with your next projects in this path. It will end in the best version of yourself. Congratulations, Mr. GE.
Thank you so much, Hannah, who has clearly listened carefully and be able to enact back the many moments in the speech that Hannah has taken note of. A suggestion for all evaluators is that while we have taken many detailed notes of the specific moments, there are times perhaps it is useful to pinpoint a few and then spending a bit of time to elaborate why that specific move or why that specific technique was of importance. This would help everybody here, members and guests, to know how to apply it in the next speech that they are delivering. Thank you, Hannah. Our next evaluator is evaluating the fourth speaker. She is Lydia. When asked why the team matters to her, Lydia says, education that leads forward encourages people to research, to plan ahead, and stay strategically focused. Over to you, Lydia.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Paramjit, first is to appreciate you. The challenge that you had, you still made sure that you're available to give the speech. This is my key takeaway and also call to action. Never give up. You excelled in various areas. Number one, in your opening, it was catchy to the audience. You started with a powerful message. When you lose the job, it does not mean that you lost the finances. Second, you demonstrated good knowledge of your speech and the structure. You gave your personal story, which was very powerful. The content was engaging. And you even asked us a question and paused for us to give a response. Your opening, your body, and the conclusion, they were well structured. You excelled also when you displayed a photo. Then you engaged the audience by asking us a question and paused for us to reply. And the photo was engaging to the audience. What do I ask yourself to challenge yourself to take the speech to the next level? Your vocal variety when you started. I tend to think maybe because you're in the car, but I noted that the sentence that you started with, when you lose the job, it does not mean that you've lost the finances. There, I expected you to raise your tone so that you engage us more. But as you continued, the vocal varieties were able to come out clearly. You're even changing to the characters and excelled also in smiling, where the speech required you to smile. In conclusion, you excelled in your vocal variety, changing the characters, and your hands gestures also were good, and the story was engaging with the audience. And the key takeaway, never give up, which I could resonate it with a quote from Thomas Edison, who said, "Our greatest lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try one more time." we should never give up. Congratulations, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Lydia. There were 2 words or 3 words from Lydia's evaluation toward the end that light my eyes up after our advanced evaluation and workshop in the past meeting. My key takeaway. A suggestion to Lydia is that she could put this my key takeaway at the start of an evaluation and then use that as a basis for deciding which are the points to complement the speaker, because it helped anchor the key takeaway, and which are her suggestions you want to bring up so that the key takeaway will be clearer and more impactful for Lydia. Another side note is that I noticed parts of her background were very eager to jump out today, and I would encourage her to take note of that the next time she joins an online meeting. Thank you so much, Lydia. With that, these are all our evaluators for today. I would like to invite the timer to post the timing for all the evaluators. And at the same time, I would also like to call upon the grammarian to give his grammarian report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Here is my grammarian report for this meeting. First, the word of the day. I had the word of the day used once by Youselee during her opening statement. Now, to the outstanding usage of English of the language. I had very many outstanding and empowering words and quotes, thoughts, and messages from almost every speaker today. But in the interest of time, I'm going to just give a few. The very first empowering quote that I had was from Youselee when he quoted Nelson Mandela that says, education is most powerful. It's the most powerful weapon if we can use it to change the world, because it encompasses exactly the essence of education that leads forward. I also had a number of good expressions from Glida when he said, magic happens when we purposely practice. I also liked a number of quotes from Jennifer. Life is a journey. If life is a journey, then education is our passport. Wow. There are a couple of few language that I felt that will be correct. One is the one that says that in those books, I thought I should have, my thought felt I had in those books, but I think it should be in those books. And there are a couple of others, but I see my yellow. So these are a few poor improper languages that one of the few improper language that I had today, and many, many outstanding and empowering words, quotes, and sentences. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, John, for the grammarian report. An encouragement I'd like to give to John and future grammarians is that usually we will have a large number of good uses of language and also potential suggestions. It may be helpful to do a categorization to help to point out what are some of the linguistic techniques that the meeting seems to excel at, and what are some of the linguistic techniques that speakers and evaluators of our club seem to use a lot less of. With that, I'd like to invite our Zoom master to launch the poll for the best effort evaluator. Members and guests, I encourage you to vote, and in the same time, I will proceed on with my general evaluation of the meeting. Members and guests, each of our leadership speak meeting is run as if it is a professional event. What you have seen today, as you have heard from many speakers and evaluators, it's not something that is brought up last minute. It is a cumulative effort of sometimes up to a month or more under the leadership of our Toastmasters of the day, Youselee Joseph. Hence, at the start of my general evaluation, I like to give thanks and commend all the team players under the leadership of Youselee for delivering a good meeting today. A few observations that I have. Firstly, to all members and role takers, when you are taking on a role, I would encourage you as best as possible to attend early. I do acknowledge that there will be circumstances. We are all humans. There will be circumstances whereby certain times you will have to be late or unfortunately be unable to attend the meeting. We have a good few examples today. When that happens, as a self-directed leader, make it known in the meeting chat. This is the meeting chat that we have separately. To guests, what I'm referring to is that for each particular meeting, we actually have a separate WhatsApp group for the purposes of coordinating whatever that happens in the meeting. And this was how we were able to track if the role takers were able to be on time, would be able to deliver their specific elements, or was there a need to readjust some of the elements, which in today's meeting, that did not happen. I also like to give thanks to Hannah, who stepped up to took over as greeter when our greeter last minute said that she had some weather conditions and network issues and was unfortunately not able to join us today. A suggestion for all speakers is that sometimes it is helpful to have about 30 seconds to a minute, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, to anchor on what is the key message, what are the specific things that you would like your audience to take away from. To put it from another perspective, each of our leadership speak meeting has at least 5 speakers. If you were to consider and include the toast, the TMOD, and all the other evaluators, that's about 15 to 20 of them. When a guest or member comes to leadership speak afresh and then leaves, what might be left behind? What might be on the mind of the audience? Or maybe another member, when he leaves and start reflecting, what are the key things that I would do after this meeting? I encourage all speakers and future speakers to think from this perspective, regardless whether they are presenting here or elsewhere. In this case, it will also help to make the key takeaway a lot stronger. This is important, and I want to stress on this, is because when we bring ourselves back to a work context, or even to the public, let's say we're giving a public speech, each of our audience would have massive amounts of information they're dealing with. Sometimes just bringing up the phone, many videos, many messages. In a meeting like a Toastmasters meeting or in a conference, there are multiple speakers. But at the end of the day, what I believe and what I hope is that when any audience attends any event, especially like a Toastmasters meeting, there is at least one key takeaway so important and so impactful that they may bring a little bit of change, at least a little bit of change to their lives. And this is when I truly believe that Toastmaster then, or Toastmasters as an organization, have met our purpose of making better communicators, making better leaders, and by that, also bring about a better community around us. With that, members and guests, I'd like to conclude my general evaluation by saying thanks to all the role players. There are many moments that are remarkable, especially how, despite the challenges, many of us still turn up and did a good job today in delivering our specific roles. I'd like to encourage all speakers, all members and guests who will be delivering speeches at some point in their life, with or without Toastmaster. Think of the key message, anchor it, and make it clear to your audience. With that, I'd like to hand over back the time to our meeting leader, the Toastmaster of the day, Youselee Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, and thank you to all the evaluators. We welcome our feedback as we are working on improving ourselves, and the next step will be to apply those feedback for our next role. Thank you to all of you. Now I will call the Toastmaster Robin Stone to present the thought on the meeting today. Toastmaster Stone, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Youselee. Martin Luther King Jr. said this: "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Education fuels leadership by fostering critical thinking and empowering growth. A key aspect of leadership is enabling the education and success of others. Learning and leading and leadership as service results in empowerment rather than authority. Society and organizations are transformed by those who are empowered. Self-directed leaders know how they learn. They become familiar with various learning styles and adapt those to their own learning practices. They learn how to give and receive effective feedback that in turn engenders continuous growth. Try out new ideas and put them into practice, always seeking continuous improvement. They never rest on their laurels. And they embrace curiosity as a daily discipline. You know, Jack Welch said this: "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." And in the words of Paramjit today, remember this: you always have one more move. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stone. Thank you for this thought on the meeting. And now I will announce the winners for the best effort speaker. Are you ready, Mr. Zuma, Mr. P.O. Master? Oh. For today's meeting, the best effort speaker is Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. Go on the chat, encourage the speaker, and on the WhatsApp group of the club as well, please post some messages to encourage the speaker. And the best effort evaluator is Toastmaster Vinod Panicker. Thank you, Mr. Zoom Master, Peer Master. Thanks to all of you for coming at this meeting today, and thank you for your participation. I would like to thank everyone, especially those that I didn't call, those who are playing those roles like in behind, like in the back, like our Zoom master. Without whom it will not be possible for you to see all the speakers or all the role players clearly, and to our peer master as well. A big thanks to all of you, to the committee that is responsible for preparing the meeting, and thank you for those assisting me, playing this role, and for encouragement, for all the advices. Now we are at the end of the meeting. I would like to leave you with some quotes, as our theme today was education that leads forward. I have a quote from Kofi Annan that says, knowledge is power, information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. One day we have studied to learn, and for our whole life, we will continue to learn. As our educational speaker said earlier, we have to keep learning in order to renew our passport, to renew our visa. Thank you. And as well as I would like to encourage you as well that to know that education without a real desire to take concrete action for progress is a waste of time. So what we are learning, wherever we are learning it, the most important part is to put those things, to put those knowledges in practice in order to improve others' life, to bring change around us. My dear friend, keep learning, keep feeling thirsty for knowledges. The better you know, the better you will serve your community. Now I'm giving back the lead to the president of the club to welcome the guests.
Thank you, our TMOD, Youselee. I'd like to take a few moments to speak to some of the most important people in our meeting today, the guests, and I also spend a bit of time to speak to some of our new members. I'll start off with guests who have signed up on the guest book. Esther Shinana, are you available to speak?
Holmes, I believe Youselee has her hand up. She has a question.
Youselee?
Thank you. I forgot to ask the Zoom master to please stop the recording.
Oh, the recording continues. We'll adjourn the meeting later. Thank you, Youselee. Esther seems to be away. It's okay. Move on to some of the others.
Good evening. Hello?
Hi, Asher.
Yes, how are you?
Good. How's the meeting for you, Asher?
No, it was very informative. It was empowering. I enjoyed it.
Thank you
especially
so much.
when, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Especially the speaker who spoke about education is a passport. I treasured that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Asher. I saw that you have indicated on the guest book that you are interested in finding out more to become a member. One of our executive committee members will definitely reach out to you. We're looking forward.
All right. Thank you.
Marie, Korea, Daniela. I see you have your camera on. Are you available to speak?
Yes, I'm available. Good
Hi.
morning, everyone.
Hello. Where are you from?
80. 80.
Ah, and how do you find the
80,
meeting
yes.
today?
It was good. It was wonderful. I invited by Toastmaster the TOD, Toastmaster Youselee, Joseph. She's a member of my club, Amethyst Club 80.
Were there particular
meeting-
moments that struck you from the meeting today?
Yes, it's very good. It was very good about I like the way the TOD with the meeting and the speakers too. It was very informative.
Thank you so much, Mary. Whenever you have
You're
time, we
welcome.
welcome you to continue to visit
Yes,
us.
yes, I will. I will. I will. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Youselee, for inviting your fellow Choose Master friends to join us also. Let me speak to one of our newer members who have recently joined us. Sylvia. Sylvia, are you there? Sylvia Warrington? She may be she might be taking a call at the moment. Okay. With that, Bram, would you like to have a moment to talk about the following meeting?
Sure, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. You caught me there by surprise. I wasn't expecting this. However, ladies and gentlemen, next week, as you might all know, some of you do know, in North America, at least in North America, we celebrate Halloween. And of course, Halloween is celebrated in other parts of the world. Some parts of the world actually really know it. We have a grand program for you next week, and be there. Most of our people who will be participating in the meeting, the speakers and role players, will be dressed up in some sort of a character. And I'll come like Count Dracula, and I'll be drinking all your blood, and I'll be dressed appropriately with my teeth as well. So be there, or be circle, not a square. We have Kiljit, who will be doing the education presentation. Now, who's Kiljit? That is for you to find out when you attend next week as to who is Kiljit. And I'm looking for my background as we are going along. Yeah, well, maybe not. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that next week you are here. You will have Helga, my assistant, and Kiljit is my another assistant who will demolish you all with painlessly but excruciating. We have the Joker, and who's present in this meeting right now, as well as many other characters. We have ghouls and princesses and witches, and the witches present here today as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have your blood drawn, there'll be a sting on your neck, but no pain until Kiljit gets at you. Very good. Over to you, Holmes.
Thank you so much, Count Dracula. We are looking toward the Halloween night, the Halloween morning in Canada next week. With that, I believe Youselee might be away. It's okay. On behalf of Youselee, I'd like to... Youselee, are you there? I would like to hand back over to you to adjourn this meeting as well as to lead us in the post-meeting interaction. Over to you, Youselee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, it was great to have you, but I cannot keep you for the whole day. So now I will let you go and to come back the next time. I declare this meeting adjourned. Madam Zoom Master,